In the animal kingdom, specifically elephants, there's always the leader of the herd called the matriarch. The matriarch will lead this pack or this herd to a water place and will always lead them to the right place. Today we are talking about a matriarch, a mother who has taken care of the family. And what about when the matriarch is down? When the matriarch is not able to lead the herd to the right direction, someone steps in. And that someone is our guest today, Tabitha Genga, sitting in on behalf of the mother, who will tell you shortly why she was not able to come. But just before that, let me introduce our co-host, Richard and Tabitha. Do it in the best way that you'd want to.
Thank you, Dave. Welcome, viewer.
Thank you. Welcome, viewer.
And next to me is Linda Riaga. That smile. Yes. Say hi to the viewer.
Hi, viewer.
Now, as I've mentioned, our guest today is called Tabitha Genga. She's here on behalf of the mother who has kidney problems. She's going to tell us more about that, but I just want to give her time to say hi to our viewers.
Hello, viewers.
Thank you so much. We are talking about the body function. And Richard, I know that when there is even your finger, when your finger is hurt, the whole body aches.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Dave, and pain in whatever part of the body has a way of unsettling virtually everything. Because all these joints, all the parts we have in our body, they all work into one. Yes, so one is affected, you are affected. Yeah.
Yep. Once you are affected, sometimes, I don't know whether you have experienced this, that you have a pain in your foot and you have a headache.
Yes.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, whichever part of your body that hurts, what will alert you that something is wrong in your head? Everything, whether be it stomach ache or anything, whichever thing is connected to your body, what will happen? You'll get a headache. And that will tell you that there's something wrong.
Something wrong in the body. Yeah.
So these people who say, stop giving me headaches, they really don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, they don't know.
Oh, that's funny.
Tabby, tell us about your mother.
Thank you. As earlier mentioned, my name is Tabitha Genga. I'm a media student at Masai University, and I'm the last born in a family of 11. Currently, I'm the one who's staying with my mom and taking care of her because my other siblings are far much away. So when it comes to taking her to the hospital, I'm the one who does that, though they send money. And my mother has been ailing. She started ailing when I was still in high school, but after high school, I now took charge because at least I'm more available than my elder siblings. So she started complaining of stomach pains. Then we started sorting out for health resolutions, and we went to different hospitals. We searched for different doctors. Then at first we took her to Nightingale Hospital, and she was diagnosed having some problem to do with the ovaries. So they were saying that they want to remove the ovaries. And she's elderly as now. And so we were like, there's no harm removing her ovaries. So then again, we started looking for help from another perspective. Then another doctor told us that she's not having ovaries problem, she's having kidneys problem.
So you decided to go for a second opinion, as they say.
Yeah, for a second opinion. In fact, I'm the one who decided that because I was trying to compare Nightingale Hospital and Russia, the current Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Teaching and Referral Hospital. And I was seeing that maybe Russia could be, the defunct Russia could be having more facilities than Nightingale Hospital. So we went to Russia Hospital. That is when she was diagnosed with kidney problems. And they said that one of her kidneys were fully damaged. And so they advised us to remove were to remove one of her kidney through
Surgically
operation.
remove them.
Yeah, through operation. And they said that she can survive on one kidney, though we were really doubting because of her age. And then she's heavily bodied, she's fat. So we were like, will she really manage? Then the doctor said...
How old is your mom?
She's over 60 years now.
Over 60.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just take a pause a little bit and let's just digest this. Maybe you could just tell us briefly when was, which year was this, the onset of the stomach pains? And
she started complaining of stomach problems in the year 2008.
2008. Now, I want us to briefly talk about this because sometimes we experience such pains. What do we do? Do you quickly take painkillers and then it happens
If it
again?
persists.
And especially headaches.
Yes.
And Linda rightly said it sometimes that headaches are symptoms,
Or something else.
not really.
Your body is telling you.
Yeah, the body is telling you that there is a problem. But there is this point that I want us to underscore, that sometimes we buy some time.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. Many
just
times you
take
have a
painkillers.
condition. You have even, let's give an example of even stomachache. Many times you will either say, okay, you know, you start thinking, backtracking, okay, what did I eat? The first thing, oh, okay, probably you went to visit somebody, you're thinking, or probably the spices and the oil that was used. Then maybe you can take water or just some painkiller. Then it comes back again. This is the same thing. You probably might not even see a doctor.
Many times
People
you
always
don't even think
postpone.
about a doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look for simple remedy. You want to think, I'll take a pill, I'll go to a chemist
Yeah.
and I'll buy some
Over the
antibiotics.
counter.
Yeah.
There's something like, you know, that's going to stop it.
Yeah.
And it may give you a little relief.
Relief.
And from there you think, I'm okay now.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't even think about it as deeper. Many times we wait until it's too late
It's too late.
to
Yeah.
seek that medical advice. Yeah, and we get hurt. Yeah.
And there is also this aspect of Mr. Google.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
nowadays
Or the
people
new
Google.
doctor.
You see, you start Googling the symptoms and it
New
brings
doctor
you
and
some
the
things, then maybe some prescriptions of a medicine.
Or
If you try and
even
try
talk to a friend. You know, the way people
Yeah.
have like, oh, you know what? You call a friend and they, how are you feeling? No, I have headache. Oh, that was malaria.
Just take
So they are always your friends who are always doctors, eh? And they always prescribe.
So coming back to Tabby, did you try to find out yourself about these kidney issues? Because, you know, this is something that is coming in as news to you. Did you try to find out? Because you said the family was a little bit worried about the state of your...
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then surviving on one kidney. Yeah, we have been talking to friends who have done medicine, the advice, but some misadvice because some will tell you to go for magicians.
Oh,
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
Some of my mom friends, they come, they tell us, maybe you have a problem, maybe somebody it's
bewitching you.
It's bewitching you.
that's interesting, eh?
That's quite something.
Yeah.
But I want to take you back a little, because before you came to the diagnosis on kidney, you mentioned that there was a suggestion that your mother was to lose her womb.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
The ovaries.
first one.
Yes,
The
the
ovaries,
ovaries are there. Now, what happened between the kidneys and that place? In between, you said you took her to the
decided to-
hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah. What made you dismiss the other one? Was it the age or just your own perception? And
It was not the age.
yes.
I was viewing Nightingale Hospital as a hospital which might not be having proper facilities.
Okay.
Unlike Russia Hospital.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
So I just told her, we'll go to Russia Hospital, then we'll start from afresh.
Yes.
Then when it started from afresh, that is when we were told she has kidney problems.
So
okay.
again, just based on what Richard is asking now, you have two sets of diagnosis.
Right.
We have ovary issues and we have kidney
Kidney,
issues.
yeah.
Which one did you go for?
Yes.
Okay, I was trusting the defunct Russia hospital because I believe in its facilities and the doctors. Unlike these other small hospitals, you know, they might hire unqualified doctors because they want to pay less. That is the mentality that I always have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, personally. Yeah.
That is something.
Yeah. So when at times when maybe you go for maybe the medication for the second chance, maybe, or a second option, then you get these results, and the other part you get these results. You're in between, you're confused, you don't know what to do. What do you treat? What is your mom suffering from? So now, from what you're saying, it's like you trusted the Russia one, so you decided to go by it.
Yes.
Go ahead, like now we are going to treat mom on kidney problem.
And maybe the family bit of it, because you know you said you were the last born, and you're the one taking care of your mom. I'm sure you had so many phone calls coming because you know you were in the hospital. Everyone is expecting something better. How was that? How did you even communicate to your brothers and sisters what is going on, and how did they take it?
Yeah, they communicate effectively, and then they trust me. I always say, like, I'm the first one from behind. They always trust what I
Makes
say.
the two of us.
Yeah, they trust me a lot, and because they've seen what I've done in the family in terms of my mother's health. Because if it were not for me, I would say my mom would have been dead, because if I were careless, because I'm the one who in most cases is with her.
Yes.
Yeah, when I see she's like the last time she was admitted, it was last month. I started seeing her, she was becoming weak, and then I told her, I need to take you to hospital, because when I'm trying to see my schedule from 2 days before today, I'm going to have a very tight schedule. Then she was telling me, no, I'm okay. Then after 2 days now, when my schedule started being so tight, I was called when I was in town that your mom is almost dying. Then when I reached, she was shivering and she would not talk. Then I rushed her to hospital, though at that particular time she was suffering from malaria.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, is your mom going through dialysis, or she's on medication to try and maintain the kidney? Because I understand that kidney is a very vital organ when it comes to
detoxifying, removing of waste.
Yes, and say ultrafiltration of blood. Yeah. So what is happening currently?
She has gone through a number of medications, and when she was operated in defunct Russia hospital, I don't know how I don't know if you know how it works in Russia hospital. You might be sick now, and then you're being told to come to, you've been booked to see a doctor next year. We are in September. You have been booked to see a doctor in next year August. That is the reality.
Now, I have a question before you get into that. Now, let's assume there's a viewer who is probably having a kidney problem and has no idea that that they are having this. Pretty much, would you just say, use a layman's term, what is it that your mom felt? What would you say? What are the symptoms of somebody who has kidney problem?
Okay, for me, I know for someone who has kidney problems, she becomes anemic most of the time, and then the body swells. Though my mom has not reached to that extent, but at the moment we are speaking, in most cases she's always found anemic when she gets to hospital. Even right now, she's anemic. She was diagnosed anemic, so we are just trying to use a little bit of natural remedies like blending beetroot and fruits and giving her more fluids every day. And then we have been advising her to take water every now and again. So when she wakes up, the first thing she takes water. So she doesn't take water because she's feeling thirsty. We always advise her to do that. Just take water for the sake of your health, not because you're feeling thirsty.
Yes.
So body, the legs might swell for those who have kidney problems, though my mom has not reached that point.
So are you saying that for the legs or whatever to swell, it has to be like, it's not the initial,
Yeah,
you know, it's not the initial stage.
Yeah.
So how about with this person who is starting the initial stages? That's where we would want you to tell us. Like,
Okay, for her, she was just feeling some
Stomach
pains
problem.
in the stomach.
like all the whole part, or there's a particular?
It was just the whole part.
Okay.
Yeah. Then it was realized that the right kidney was the one that was having problems. Then it was operated and removed.
Oh.
Then after that, we have been seeing a doctor, though I don't want to mention his name because
You
I
don't
know,
have to. Yeah.
because I know he still have clients, and then that is his work. So when we were being told to, when we were booked like 6 months to see a doctor, 6 months, and this person is ailing. So we had to look for a private doctor, though the doctor is also working at the defunct Refuge hospital.
Yes.
So when we went there, I can say I'm gifted to read people's mind, though
Please
I've
don't
not,
read mine.
though I've not been in a psychology class. So when we went there, this doctor used to work with my dad. My dad also used to work at Refuge hospital, so she knows the Genga family. So she was like, "Oh, Mrs. Genga, how are you?" "I'm fine." "Where have you come from? Have you come from home, or you still live in town?" Then my mother told her that Genga bought a piece of land after he retired.
Yes.
So that is where we live now, though I have another home, a rural home.
Yes.
Then he said, "Right, how big is that land?" Then my mother said, "It's not that small, it's not that big." Then I was like, now this man has some interest in this
in the
land.
land.
Then he asked another question. What about your son who's working at Maseno University?" She still works there. "And the other one teaches at Maseno School, and the other ones." So I was like, this person wants to see how much we can get.
Yes,
For the
A certain amount
For
of
the
money.
medication range,
Yeah,
yes.
for the medication. Then
Yes.
after that, all those questions, immediately, she told us that there's a very good doctor in Nairobi, and I want you to take your mom to Nairobi. Then I asked her, him, looking at the expenses of going with the patient to Nairobi, of course we have to look for a place to live in. We can't rely on relatives.
Tabi, we want to take a short break, and we are going to talk about the expenses and what comes about it. So viewers, stay tuned. We are taking a short break. When we come back, we are going to talk about more on the finances. Family Times continues, and we are talking about kidney problems, and our guest Tabitha Genga is just explaining to us what it means to go about kidney issues, and you are talking about the finances. Now tell us more about it.
Yeah. So I was saying, when we reached there, he was like trying to figure out how much we can get so that he quotes what we can, what's within our budget, though he was not saying it directly.
So in essence, you're saying that he was gauging how much he can charge from the questions he was asking.
Then after that, he said there's a very good doctor in Nairobi, and he wants us to see that doctor. Then I told her, what about that doctor coming to Kisumu, and maybe we cater for the expenses. Then he said that the doctor has to come with a flight. Of course, that was going to be a little bit expensive for us. Then I told him, Daktari, I know you are a qualified doctor, and you must have another option. You must have a plan B. A qualified doctor must have a plan B.
Oh, yes.
Then he really got angered. Then he told my mother, Mrs. Ganga, you know, your daughter is not sick. She doesn't know how you feel. Then she told me, get out. Then I went out.
Pause.
Well,
You know,
Yes.
there is this bit of, let me call it frustration,
Yeah.
or
Right.
the urge to see your loved one getting well,
Right.
Yes.
and the extent that you can go.
Yeah.
And sometimes some advantage can be, someone
Taken.
can take advantage of that.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Many times when we are desperate,
Yeah, we are so desperate.
we can be pushed to the wall and we accept,
Yeah.
you know, anything that is thrown at us.
Right.
So I think that is the situation which Tabitha was facing at that moment. And thank God she has this ability to tell that this was not really the good line to follow.
Right.
But even as you say that, Tabitha, you know, we have grown up to really believe in what the doctor says.
Yeah.
And many times you wonder, if you say no to a doctor,
What would happen then?
what would happen to
Yeah.
your patient? That must have been very courageous of you to simply ask those kind of questions. But more than that, I think that where your mother was at that particular time when you were talking to the doctor, the sense that you got to be able to take this conversation to where you took it must have had a lot of influence from your family. The sense that you could take that kind of decision and you know, as you say, because you are very responsible with your mother, that the family will just take it and go forward with it. Didn't it strike you as probably being a little risky that you would challenge a doctor in the manner in which you did it? No. Were you just thinking about that, or you were in a place exactly where you knew that when it comes to the cost, you will not be able to manage it, even though you had siblings who probably could have just taken up the responsibility?
Yeah, I knew at some point we would manage it, we would raise that money,
Yes.
because I know we have friends who would chip in.
Yes.
But I don't like people who exploit people,
Oh, yes.
or who take advantage of people.
others, yes.
And again, before, considering my mother's age,
Yes.
and going for another operation
Tedious
again,
process.
Because she had had one
within a
before.
short
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
and then she was quoting like over 1 million. Then I was like, no, we must have a plan B
Yeah,
first.
plan B.
Then he ordered me to move out because I was not feeling. Then when he ordered me to move out, then I said, now she wants to brainwash
your
my
mother.
mother. That is what she wants to do.
Now, before you tell us that, Tabitha, what did it cost you, or rather, what was the cost of the first operation to remove one of the kidneys? How much was it?
It was much,
Yes.
over 100,000.
Oh, 100,000.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Though after removing one of her kidneys, she was discharged from hospital hurriedly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think
good
because
time.
there are so many patients.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you know it's a referral hospital.
So she had to go
So
and
we had
go
to
home
go to
to
another
create space.
hospital for nursing care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then after that, that is when she was now a little bit stable,
Yes.
we discharged her.
Okay.
Yeah, and took her home.
So
Now,
you went, yes. Go on.
we may not have time to discuss everything, but I just want you to help us understand, because there is, I may call it a catch-22 situation. And again, you were the one with your mother. The rest of your siblings, they are looking up to you to make the right decisions. Did you feel that you are burdened because you have to step in and step in for the rest of your brothers and sisters?
Yes.
No, I didn't feel unburdened because they were also they were at their workplaces. They would probably lose their jobs if they don't adhere to the rules and go to work as expected, and that would also be another burden. So they communicate effectively. Whenever I ask them for money, they pay. And I was saying that I reached a point where the doctor ordered me to move out. Then when I came in, I still insisted we have to go for the plan B. Then he told me that the plan B will take long. Then I asked him how long. It will take like 3 to 6 months for her to heal. Then I told him, you are talking of 3 to 6 months for her to heal, when getting this 1 million, over 1 million that you want, will take us 10 years. So for you, which one is better?
Which one is long? Which is faster?
Yeah.
So ultimately, as I've said, we may not have time.
Yeah.
Who made the decision, and which decision was this?
Yes.
So I forced the doctor to go for the plan B that he didn't want. So he
bring the doctor.
He didn't bring the doctor. We went for the plan B.
Which?
So he prescribed this drug called Ciprobe. It still sticks on my mind. Though everyone in our family can't even pronounce it, but it sticks because it has a history.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
You said
prescribed
Cipro?
Ciprobe.
Ciprobe.
Yeah, it's very expensive. Yeah. So after she took the Ciprobe and some other antibiotics, then she got healed for a while, and then right now she's starting to complain again for the same problem. Yeah,
No.
it's recurring.
If I may ask a question, when you're with your mother, are you alone? At times, do you feel you're tired? You need someone else to help you? You just go through it?
Do you ever feel like giving up?
Yeah, because the truth
sometimes
is,
you can.
yeah, you're right, because you know any caregiver has that fatigue.
Yeah.
You have, it is just natural. It's not because she's your mother now you just be like, oh, I'm not tired.
Do you at times feel that
Okay.
I need a break?
At times I get fatigued because I do so many things apart from studying. At times I work with the research firms. So I go to school, I go to work, I have to take care of my mother. But it's I take it to be part and parcel of my life. In fact, yesterday she was telling my elder sister, she came to visit us, and she was telling her, Ati, you saw how mommy was just sleeping when I was crying. Then I told my elder sister, you know, when I start waking up, I'll be waking up every day. I'll be like transniting every day. So it has to be part and parcel of my life. Yeah.
But Dave, I can only imagine like what the caregivers are going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody could be having somebody with a kidney problem. Somebody could be taking care of somebody with HIV or cancer. That fatigue, you know, you want to be there sincerely, but it's so draining. It's so draining that you don't know what to do. So
I think the strength you have over this one
Yeah.
is because of
thank
family,
God.
basically.
yeah.
Family.
Yeah. Maybe you could just give us maybe an estimate. How much have you used so far in terms of finances?
For kidney problem.
You may not really quote the
to-
exact figure.
Up to now,
Yeah,
it can be over 500,000.
over 500,000, and the
Yeah.
family has always come into.
Yeah, in fact, we have never sought for like
Funds.
harambees. We just do it
Contributions.
as a family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
God's
I
favor.
want to
God's
thank God
favor.
for you, because standing for your mom with your busy schedule,
Yeah.
she takes
Though
her
at
heart,
first when her kidney was removed, she was like psychologically affected. So whenever she meets somebody, she tells somebody, you know me, I'm half dead, one of my kidneys were removed. Then we told her to stop saying that. Then after she stopped saying that,
She picked up.
then she picked up. She's now living a very normal life, and in fact it's like at times she forgets she has
she's sick.
one kidney. Yeah.
So it takes positivity.
So, what would you tell someone who is watching Hope Channel Kenya on how to take care of their family members, not necessarily those who are sick, even people who are well? What would be your advice?
Yeah. My advice is to always be there for them, especially at times people are psychologically sick. Even we as we are now. Yeah. So my mom likes watching football. Me, I don't like watching football. So at times I just sit there to make her enjoy. Yeah.
Yes, you
Though
make
at
her
times,
enjoy. Yeah.
though at times we support different teams.
Yeah.
But I always see that working for her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are ready to sacrifice.
Yeah.
Though at times I get
Just
tired.
keeping her company.
During the World Cup,
Yes.
there was a day she screamed and I was sleeping, already sleeping, and I was like, "What's happening?" Then she told me that I don't know which country won.
She won.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Well, that's nice.
That's something.
So guys, you see the part that a family plays
Yes.
in our lives, family members play in our lives is very critical.
Very true. Very true.
Sometimes we don't know how much it feels until we get into that situation that we need someone to step in.
And again, I think understanding someone, what that person likes, you can just support.
Yes.
For you to give her the morale and the positivity, so that at the end of the day, when someone is positive in life, he can be able to live another day.
True. Somebody has said that every laughter in a family is a healer. Every moment and every time when people are laughing, they are healing themselves. It was the stresses of life, probably sickness situations like the one they have gone through. There is joy when people smile and laugh, because it brings people together, it strengthens them, and they remain in a place where they can have joy despite the situation.
Linda, you want to read the living word.
Let me read a verse here in the book of Psalms, chapter 46, verses 1. I'll only do verse 1. It says, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. So how we pray to God to be your refuge, to be your strength, and he will never leave you in trouble.
Amen.
Continue helping your mother and supporting her in whichever way.
Yes.
Tabby, now this is the moment that you need to talk to our viewer out there who are probably supporting a family member and they feel maybe tired, fatigued, and they feel like they want to take a break. Talk to them and tell them some encouraging words, something that makes you going. Share with them.
Okay, as for me, I think God is everything.
Amen.
Me, I pray a lot, though at times I may not be going to church regularly, but I do pray a lot.
Yes.
Like just the other day when my mother was hospitalized, there was a day I said, today when I go and find her alive, then I think her days are still more in this world. But I really prayed. I knelt down and prayed and prayed and prayed. So prayer is everything. People will advise you to go to magicians. People will advise you to do this. But those doesn't work. Prayer is everything.
Amen. Amen.
Prayer is everything.
Yes.
You have your take-home words.
Just an encouragement to our viewer. It doesn't matter what people say. God is the ultimate. Trust in God, and he will always give you the strength to go through or help a relative, a mother, or a friend. In whichever way, always try and encourage one another and be there for someone.
Be there for someone. Tabby.
Dear viewer, it is not over until it is over. So if you have a patient in the house, don't be discouraged because of one reason or the other. And just like Tabitha has said, it doesn't matter what your patient loves. If your patient loves football and you don't love, hey,
That's it.
have fun with your patient and, just to motivate that patient. But above all is look up unto Jesus and all will be well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave. I've learned a lot from what Tabitha has told us, and I think viewers too have learned. I think family support is very important, even in aiding recovery where people are ailing. And therefore, let's come together. Let's put our minds together. Let's support, because as they said, that God is the ultimate. Yeah, thank you.
Let me just ask before we wind it up, who is the most important in the family, mother or father? Let's choose one.
That's a
I can't choose one.
Sure.
Richard, who is the most
across.
okay, let me ask Tabi, who is the most important person?
But it's the mother because she's the engine.
Mother. Yeah, you've gone with the
Yeah.
mother. One point.
It depends. The most important is the most responsible. The mother might be irresponsible. The father might be more responsible than the mother.
Tabi,
Am I allowed to say pass?
pass.
They are
Richard.
equally important. Yes.
Yes. So
Thank you.
that is how we end this show. We are talking about taking care of our family members, and specifically in this show, we've been talking about taking care of a mother who has been taking care of us, and now we need our care.
True.
What does it take for you to just call your mom right now and ask, how are you? See you next time. This is Family Times.